Welcome to the OutThere Colorado Podcast. Once again, I'm Spencer, sitting down with Seth to chat all about the Centennial State.
Present and accounted for. You want to talk about Mexico as well?
Yeah, I got to hear about this trip. Seth was out of office last episode.
I was gonna say sorry for missing, but you're welcome for missing. You know, everyone was spared for a week from it. Did you record last week?
Yeah, we got an episode
good,
out.
good.
Got video producer Tim on the show, and everyone got to hear from Tim again. So
Let's bring Tim back.
Exciting. Yeah, we're still trying to figure out the 3-mic setup, but tell us about Mexico.
Three
Seth.
amigos. Just a whole lot of bumming around, man. I mean, it was a quick, kind of 4-night trip to where, we just thought the only way it was going to go quicker is if we were running around like crazy. So what did? We did not run around at all. Me and my family sat at the pool, drank some pina coladas, ate. It's cool. Like the resort, I imagine a lot of resorts there. I'd never been to Mexico. Has all these different restaurant concepts. And so first night was Italian. Second night was Mexican. Third night was what was it? Kind of this elevated American thing.
Nice.
And then a kind of a classic kind of grill spot. And then fourth night was Thai, and it was really good.
There you go.
But what was the best thing we ate in Mexico? Mexican food.
Of course.
These resorts try very hard and do a great job of making these experiences, these dining experiences. But it's give me that steak burrito again by the pool, that was the good stuff.
I would be the same. Where were you at specifically?
Playa del Carmen.
Nice.
So south of Cancun. We flew into Cancun and then shuttled south, where there was a huge seaweed breakout this summer. Yeah, really bad seaweed situation. And I'm not entirely clear. When I'm on vacation, I don't do much education, right? But so the reasons for that, I'm not sure, but it is historic levels.
Dang.
This year.
Does that impact getting in the water and stuff?
Yeah, we didn't even get in the ocean, man. I mean, people did, but I was I'm good,
Yeah.
We walked along it, the seaweed lapping up on my feet,
Yeah.
It's pretty serious. And they had machines, because apparently, they had backhoes and stuff moving this stuff out, man. Because apparently, if you don't get on it early in the morning, it becomes this untenable situation. You cannot move this crap.
Sounds like a bit of a mess.
Yeah, but otherwise beautiful vacation.
Yeah, well, you were out there battling the seaweed in Mexico.
Hard life.
I had one of the best Mexican meals of my life.
I'm excited to hear about this. You were thinking about me.
Yeah. So, kind of, what did I do this weekend?
Weekend update.
Right, I talked about it a little bit here and there, but my girlfriend and I are doing a weekly date night, right? So
love that. Yeah,
every
a different place.
Yeah, different place. It has to be a different place, and it has to be. So we do it on a surprise basis. So 1 week I pick, and I have to surprise her. Even punching in the GPS and stuff, she doesn't know where we're going until we show up at the door, right?
I'm imagining you with a map, a map quest stuff. Yeah,
exactly.
Make sure where am I going?
Yeah, exactly. That is me. So this last Friday though, it was my pick, right? So. Surprised her with por favor, tacos and tragos. But it is a pretty new Mexican restaurant over on Centennial there in Colorado Springs.
Okay, yeah.
Specialty is birria, and I gotta say,
love that.
Absolutely amazing. I might have had the best burrito I've ever had in my life. It was up
noted.
There, if not, yeah, it was awesome. Burrito had refried beans, rice, obviously the birria and some cilantro, onion, and then cheese. And the cheese is on the outside of the tortilla, so just or on the outer side,
not in it,
in the tortilla, but on the outer
got
edge.
It. Got it. Yeah.
So it just melts into this perfect chewiness. Every bite had great. The consomme that they serve it with. I was literally drinking it like soup by the end of the meal. Upon the waiter's recommendation. But yeah, owned by 3 brothers. I think it's been open for a year.
Cool.
Really just a fun atmosphere.
Sit down. Yeah, definitely
down.
A cool vibe. Sit down kind of thing. Yeah.
Sit down. Also, the margs were good. So I had the standard marg. Girlfriend had the cucumber marg.
Yep.
Also something where I'm this might be the best marg I've ever had in my life. The cucumber marg specifically. It was very good.
Sweet.
It was, so cannot say enough about it. She had 3 tacos. I tried them all. All of those were good as well.
That's great.
So, and I think it's 4.9 stars on Google reviews. So definitely something to add to the list if you're for anyone listening from Colorado Springs. Absolutely loved it. Yeah, and got a nice little bike ride in the next day.
Got it off you.
Got around Garden of the Gods a bit.
Yeah,
I've said it before, so don't need to repeat myself. But I love just taking the road bike out.
Oh yeah,
going around Garden of the Gods.
Yeah, for sure.
Always a fun time. So
much better in the off season.
Yes.
Man.
Though it is fun to like see the giant row of cars there, and just zip by them
right
on the bike.
Gosh, dude, knock on wood. Whenever I swear, like when I've got visitors in town and we're driving through Garden of the Gods, there's always some idiot driver pulling off in that bike lane, man.
Yeah.
Be careful is what I'm trying to say.
Oh yeah.
Gosh, I see it too much.
There are like 2 blind turns there.
Yeah.
You really got to be careful on those. I've seen it a little bit less lately compared to like, maybe like 2-3 years ago, but they've also had they've had traffic attendants, so to speak, helping the last couple times I've been riding around there. So they've been directing people and kind of restating some of those rules.
The best is those motorless mornings.
Oh,
have you ridden around those motorless?
Not.
Oh yeah.
Need to though.
That's when you can just really cruise and not think about anything.
Yeah.
Except the beauty all around you. I love those motorless mornings.
Well, and if you get there early enough, like if you're there at like 6:37, park's pretty empty regardless of the day.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
That used to be my jam, but now I've been sleeping in a little bit more.
As you should. As you should.
I should.
Sleep is healthy.
Let's go ahead and dive into some of these Colorado topics though. So one thing you did recently, I think Monday and Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken, popped up to Estes Park.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Yeah. Sunday, Monday. I finally got the Stanley experience.
Nice.
I'd never stayed at the Stanley before. Really great. What a cool place just to hang out. I mean, I didn't know like just how I guess that's the way I put it. What a cool place to hang out because there is so many aspects of that hotel that I wasn't aware of.
Oh yeah.
You walk in the main lobby and there's that airy wine bar. Airy, a lot of light, a lot of natural light coming in. Great areas for deck seating. That wine bar over there, 217 Wine Bar, I want to say. What a cool place just to sit down, take in the view. And then of course I'd also never been to the Cascades restaurant. Had a really good hunk of meatloaf bordered by bacon.
That sounds good.
Yeah, hit the spot. And then Cascades restaurant, as people may or may not know, is home to, they claim to have like one of the biggest whiskey collections in the state.
Yeah, and the photos of it are incredible because it is just literally like this perfect little whiskey bar. I love it.
I heard a guy walk in with his buddy and they're like looking at the wall and he looks at the bartender and he goes, "You have a magnifying glass?" Because he can't possibly like see all the whiskey brands and stuff. Yeah.
That's fair.
Hundreds. I didn't have time to count. I was having too much of a good time to count, but
how many of the
like there was like 15 pages of whiskey.
Dang.
In the menu.
Dang.
Talking small print,
What was like the most expensive whiskey there?
There was a pour for $999.
Dang.
I had to double check that with the bartender. I was like, "Is this the price of the pour?"
That's
wild.
Like,
yeah,
that's wild.
I was like, "Have people bought that?" And he's like, 3/4 of the way through the bottle, so it happens. It happens.
Dang.
Most of the vast majority of it is what you'd expect.
Yeah.
I mean that seriously. There's others that are hundreds of dollars, but most of them are what you'd expect.
Yeah.
And we're talking brands that you know and brands that you most definitely don't know. What you can't get anywhere else, kind of a newer experience, about 4 years now, as part of their suite of tours at the Stanley, they do a whiskey tasting now.
Oh, that's cool.
So in that lower level where all the tours are, do your Shining tour, your day hike, day history tour. I did that for the first time, the day history tour. That was really, really great. But in the back of the hallway there is what's called the Vault. And this is a concept, kind of this newer concept that's launched like about 4 years, like I said. And it's all exclusive, right? So it's this arrangement where this longtime industry guy scouts out barrels, producing bottles just for the Stanley.
Dang.
We're talking hundreds of bottles too, exclusive to the Stanley down at the Vault.
Dang. That's awesome.
And these whiskey tours that you can do are on the weekends, Thursday through Sunday, I think. Nice. $60 to sit down and try different whiskeys and get a really like in-depth history and everything you didn't know about whiskey, like how to taste it and what you're tasting. And bunch of different interesting little tidbits that I had no idea about. That was a really great time.
Yeah.
A really really cool time. Yeah.
And obviously people probably know, but Stanley Hotel, famous for part of this inspiration behind The Shining.
Right. Yeah.
Famous Stephen King book and movie. And
yep.
There's also the little hedge maze that they have out front now, which
in honor of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Shining was not filmed there in any way. Right. So, but they did build that hedge maze after the fact. So
if people aren't aware, the story I heard was Stephen King. What is it? 1974. I hope I'm not bungling that.
About right.
Hope I'm not botching that. Was actually on his way to Grand Lake, looking to get over the divide into Grand Lake, right through Rocky Mountain National Park. Snow comes down, blocks the way, so he ends up at the Stanley for the night. Story they told is has a few, maybe whiskeys, beverages downstairs. Makes his way up to his room for the night, has a terrible nightmare, goes out to the balcony to smoke a cigarette, and in that process conceives of The Shining while smoking the cigarette.
That's
and you can see that balcony, like the hedge you mentioned.
Yeah.
You see that balcony. Room 217.
Cool. That's very cool.
Yeah.
1974. You're right.
Sweet.
Took
notes.
Did you see any sort of? They do have like these little haunting tours now, right? So did you see?
I did a night tour. I did one of the night tours.
Yeah.
I think the Shining tour is the way to go.
Yeah.
The Shining tour, I think, is the way to go. But I did the night tour, and heard some ghost stories. He showed pictures of some pretty convincing, creepy stuff over the years. Yeah.
And I wonder how these ghost stories will go just with AI now. You know, like back in the day, it's like if you saw a ghost in a photo, you're like, oh, that photo was taken. But now it's just like, oh, AI. Like,
yeah. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. We'll see. But yeah, man, I've visited the Stanley one time and I agree. It was just such a cool little like destination in itself.
And you know what? I think
it's worth checking out.
I think there's going to be some increased push for the off season. I think they really want to ramp up the marketing to go in the off season. And I think that is a great time to go.
Yeah, like off season being
like winter. Yeah. Yeah, it struck me as like what a cozy place to be in the winter.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Whiskey tastes better in the winter for sure.
Very true. Very true.
So yeah, I want to go back in the winter.
No, that's awesome.
And you know, all the concerts they do now, all the different sort of events they do now. They've got the Frozen Dead guy there. You aware of that? The Frozen Dead guy is now
yeah, they moved him right
to the historic Ice House, of course.
Did you see that?
I saw that another time. I went and did a story on the new life of the Frozen Dead guy. Gosh, when did he move to the Stanley? When the festival came a year or two ago. I think the festival just did its second year in Estes Park. Does that sound right?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. And I remember talking to the longtime owner, John Cullen, and he's a great interview. And as he was explaining the story to me, he said something about, you know, the interest in the festival. It started, as I'm recalling, with the interest in the festival in Estes Park, and what a neat thing that would be for Estes Park, because there was some cool problems in Nederland, kind of ran its course in Nederland. But as John was explaining to me this vision for the festival in Estes Park, he goes, and I knew if we were going to do the festival, I needed to have the Frozen Dead guy. He put together the arrangement and made that happen. And now it's like, a little museum dedicated to that industry of, why am I blanking? When you freeze people.
Cryogenics.
Thank you.
Boom.
Yeah, there's a little crash course on cryogenics at the Stanley now.
Nice.
Amid so much of the Stanley.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, here, so just got a message here from video producer Tim sitting over there. Yeah. Apparently, there was a Shining miniseries that was filmed at the Stanley Hotel.
I didn't know that.
1997.
I learned that when I was there. Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting. So maybe if people want to get a little bit of a taste of what the Stanley's like inside, maybe that's something worth checking out. So you did the Estes Park tram too.
Did the tram, yeah.
Tramway, how was that?
There again, I didn't realize how beautiful that was up there. And there's like, little trails up there.
It's one of the biggest trams in the country, I want to say, right? Or...
It's very notable for its technology. This I'm blanking on the term, but it's very unique in terms of how it was built. 70 years now this summer, marking 70 years. And a legend, the story of the legend who built it, Robert Heron. This vision for like tramways beyond just for the ski industry, right? The experience of just getting up a mountain He was all about that at that time. And a legend in the ski industry. I mean, extremely notable for what he brought to the ski industry, including, as I understand it, the first double chair that was at Berthoud, the old Berthoud ski area. Yeah. Lift 1A at Aspen as well. And just, he's in the Ski Hall of Fame. I mean, he very well could be called a grandfather, a father in the ski industry world.
Very cool.
So learned a bit about that story, and then again, just the beauty up there. What a fantastic view of the Continental Divide. And I talked to a local who said he used to always like hiking up that mountain, Prospect Mountain, and he'd always see mountain lions. I didn't see any mountain lions, but why would they want to hang out where the tram is going up? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. We touched on it last week, though. I mean, Rocky Mountain National Park, obviously right by Estes Park, and mountain lion just killed a wolf up there earlier this year.
We were going to talk about a mountain lion here on the show here.
Yeah. I guess we can use this as a segue.
Sure.
Chat about a recent incident, and very, very sad incident. But a pet dog in the Boulder area was on a walk with its family, and a mountain lion just popped out of nowhere and just snatched it up.
Worst nightmare.
Yeah, worst nightmare, as any dog owner can relate to that. Any cat owner, any pet owner, right? You can relate to that.
My cat's savage. It would be just fine. It would.
Yeah. Apparently the dog killed instantly, and then dragged away by the mountain lion. The mountain lion was not threatening to the humans that were there, though. So kind of the approach that wildlife authorities used was, okay, let's monitor the situation. In case you don't know about how mountain lions can deal with their kills after the kill, they tend to cache it somewhere, and then they come back to that cache over the course of up to 10 days. I was reading for some of their some larger kills. So basically authorities wanted to get rid of that cache so the mountain lion wasn't hanging out in that same area. I believe it was actually in like a neighborhood setting. So they kind of monitored the situation. Mountain lion moved away enough for them to locate that dog and kind of get that mountain lion out of the area, and also provide some closure for that family. But very sad situation, and good reminder to just take all those preventative cautions to just keep your pets safe. Don't let them go out in the backyard unattended, things like that. Install the motion sensor lights, kind of deter animals from getting in that backyard. Consider removing some of those obstacles where a mountain lion might be lurking or hiding behind, like big bushes, fences, things like that. So, very, very sad situation.
So sad.
People don't realize how many pets get killed by mountain lion. They're like, I think it was I want to say it was up in the Boulder area, but a few years ago, they put up a whole dashboard with like a map where it was like more than a dozen that had been killed in recent months, and they were trying to track the movement. And
yeah,
it's one of those things where if there's prey animals in the area, there's probably going to be some predators too. And
I even got I got creeped out months ago when I saw a coyote in the neighborhood.
Oh yeah,
same thing. Like for weeks, months, every time I let the dog out, I was always looking out there.
Yeah. So some of those nights, like with the windows open in summer, right? I'll hear the coyotes yipping, like probably celebrating a kill, I would imagine. But it's pretty creepy whenever you're just sitting there trying to sleep, and all of a sudden you hear all this like howling, and just like almost like like celebratory howling is what it almost comes off as.
Freaky.
But, we had a situation in Colorado Springs recently too, where some mountain lions, not a mountain lion, coyote attacked a young girl. I think she was like 4 years old or 5 years old. And it's kind of and I think in that scenario, it was kind of lurking in the neighborhood area because there was food that was available, and then it got its chance to lunge and it did it. But
same thing with, a lot of reasons not to have the dog off leash, but there's one of them. Yeah.
For sure. For sure. And it wasn't noted in this case in Boulder whether or not that dog was on a leash or off a leash. So I can't even guess there, but sounds like a very tragic situation. Condolences go out to that family. Let's get on to something happier here. Let's talk about let's get into some 14er talk, Seth.
Good time for 14er talk.
Yeah, good time for 14er talk. You recently published a piece talking about how the alternative routes up mountains appeal to some people, and I definitely agree. Like,
you're one of those.
I seek out the alternative route almost every time nowadays just to skip the crowds.
Yep.
You know, so
little extra brain challenge for sure.
Yeah, a little bit more route finding usually. But even some of the alternative routes are, like pretty comparable in terms of being class 1, class 2, and just for whatever reason, they're just not they don't have that star beside them on 14ers.com, so people just overlook them. But yeah, tell us about that.
Especially nowadays when there's been a lot of, rightfully so, increased attention by organizations like Colorado 14ers Initiative to really solidify, if you will, these trails going up 14ers. I mean that literally, solidify in a lot of cases. I mean, hardening these trails with rock barrier and making things more conducive to that environment for the number of people who trample these mountains now, right? I mean, that's just a good way to direct people, a good way to take care of the environment. That's the advocacy side of it anyway.
Yeah.
But amid that, I think there is maybe more and more people looking another way. Like, what's another way up this mountain? Which, in the history of alpinism has always been a thing, right? We've always had this desire for another line, another route. But like I say, increasingly amid that kind of trend with trails and just the number of people on those trails, I think it's easy to think like other people are wondering what else is out there, right?
Yeah, it makes sense.
And things like Jerry Roach's Colorado's 14ers book. I was talking to Andrew Hamilton, the highly regarded king of 14ers for his mad dashes across these summits over the years.
Holds multiple records.
And that was his inspiration, that book where he realized, and you know what the book is called, From Hikes to Climbs, very specifically, because majority of these mountains, you're hiking. But there is always that option to climb, you know, man. So, it was just kind of fun getting into the minds of some of these folks who, I'm not often proud of headlines, but this was one I liked. Alt rock. Why some jam to the less traveled extreme sides of Colorado 14ers.
Yeah, I like that headline too.
So why so? Because to get away from the popularity and to use the brain a little more, right? The challenge.
Yeah.
Goes without saying.
Yeah, I mean, just getting away from the crowds is just so nice. And it does offer just a little bit of variety from, like you're saying, like that well-trodden track, essentially. Like, I mean, a good example of one where it's, like I did one of the alternate routes up Elbert a little bit ago. And even with that, I was by myself on the entire trail. And this is still a class 1 trail.
I was going to say.
Still very, very easy route. Or not easy, but you know what I mean, in the sense of, in the grand scheme of things, it's not very technical.
Talking the East Ridge, Black Cloud,
and and it was, even though it's like a very easy trail to follow, just not seeing other people. You do kind of have this like mental workout the whole time. Where you're like, okay, I'm making sure I'm on the right route. Got to check your map, make sure you didn't get off a trail, because there's not many places to go around there, but there are a couple little turnoffs here that you could get messed up on. But it definitely is a little bit more of like that mental workout when you are fully relying on yourself and you can't just look up the mountain and see here's 40 other people going the same direction I am. But I mean, that was a good one. There's the alternate class 3 route up Quandary is a good one too. More technical, a little bit of route finding.
West Ridge,
I believe. West Ridge.
How it's referred.
A little bit of route finding complications there, because you are just in that rocky terrain, and like I said, it's class 3, so more risk, more exposure. But you get up to the top, and then all of a sudden there's like 100 people on the Quandary Peak summit,
and they're all looking at you like you're a Martian. Like,
where
did you come from?
Person coming from? And
there's the danger. Right.
You don't.
I mean, there's a lot of those people who think, oh, maybe we go down that way. No,
don't want to do that. When I did that, I actually went down the East Ridge route. So went up West Ridge, went down East Ridge.
Get your challenge and then enjoy your stroll down. Also,
another great alternative route outside of Creed. I think I've talked about it before, but San Luis. San Luis Peak. I was the only car.
The way to do it.
It was like a Saturday or a Sunday. I was the only car parked there the whole day. Like literally, like it was just me when I parked there at like 8:30. Like I didn't even have to arrive early. And then it was just me when I was leaving, and I didn't see anyone on the trail except for a few through hikers that were on the Colorado.
The lonely giant, as I often hear.
Yeah,
San Luis, just sitting out there.
It was beautiful,
sitting out there.
And I think that route from Creed too, I think it's a little bit more beautiful even.
Yeah.
Kind of go through some valleys and a lot of flowers and just, it was great. I loved it. But
I got. I'm glad you mentioned. I mean, these are generally more extreme. I mean, maybe that's a strong word. Most certainly there is serious exposure and spines that you're walking on some of these alternate routes, but there's also things like you just mentioned on Elbert. There's options for still a somewhat, I hesitate to say gentle or whatever, because you know how it is. These are 14ers, these are mighty. This is mighty Mother Nature, always in control, right?
You're still going up to 14,000 feet, subject to weather, and
you're in a very wild place. Goes without. I hope goes without saying. But there are those options where you have a similar on trail experience, just away from people, right?
Yeah.
Little Browns Creek. I was kind of turned on to that by someone on Ontario, right? Getting away from the Jeep road, good backpacking option there.
I've heard about that one, and that's something where, I mean, normally the Ontario climb, you're on a road the whole time, at least until you get to the last 500 feet of gain or so. You're literally just walking up a road. So having options like that, I mean, that's nice.
And then of course there's when people are wanting to get a taste, right? I mean, you hear about Kelso, Sawtooth, some of those exposed ridges in reach of front range populations. It kind of seems like popularly, there again, if that's the way to put it, that's where people are kind of stepping into that new terrain. I think, when people are kind of wanting to get a feel for what's serious exposure like, what's scrambling like,
Oh, for sure. Yeah, Sawtooth was something that I did a while back. Connects Beardstadt to Mount Blue Sky. And that was kind of the appeal to me. It was just like, I'd done a lot of these class 1, class 2 routes, and just kind of looking for something that was a little bit more technical, but also didn't maybe carry the same extreme technical nature of some of these, like, class 4 peaks that you see out there. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely it keeps them exciting, so to speak. Like, people always ask, or a question I get a lot will be like, "Oh, do you do the same mountain again and again and again?" And it's like, "Oh, always." Like, I've probably been up Yale 10 times, right? Like, and every day is a little bit different, and especially if you have the alternative route option, it adds some spice to it.
Yeah, spice, good word.
Or rowdy nature.
Maybe worth a mention. Yeah, rowdy. Yeah. Maybe worth a mention. I mean, I think it's worth saying, like, if people are kind of wanting to dip their toes into the alternate world, right? It might be that good time to get that personal beacon locator.
Yes. I use a Garmin InReach Explorer. That's my go-to.
Yeah,
love it. Even just the peace of mind, and I have another story here I'm about to get into, but the peace of mind for yourself, but also other people on the trail.
Right.
If something happens to somebody else too. That's always been my favorite. And, even with cell phones having some GPS technology nowadays, or at least in the sense of like being able to use a satellite to send a text out, cell phones die so fast.
Right.
Like it's especially if you're taking photos, which, like I said, I've said before, but I tend to be someone taking photos of all these wildflowers and stuff. So
I'm sure one day Apple will come out with the Mountaineer,
Oh yeah,
the phone built for the mountains.
Yeah,
made of steel, and
they're getting that way with their watches. They definitely have, like, whatever, I forget. It's not the Adventurer or something, but it's like a upgraded watch version now that they're trying to push. But yeah, either way, alternate routes we're checking out. Go to 14ers.com, click the routes option, and then just look and see what else there is. Just make sure that you're paying attention to the road quality to the parking lot.
Also a good
or to the trailhead. Yeah,
there's a reason also. There's a reason why these aren't the standard routes, because it's not a standard necessarily the standard drive to them.
Yeah, often you're going to be looking for
good point, for
a more rugged road, or you'll be on a more rugged road and a smaller lot, and got to make sure you're always parking legally. Don't just park on the side of the road. But the Elbert one, though, I think the parking lot for that was paved, at least where I did it, and almost easier to get to than the other one. So pulled up and there were two cars out of like 15 spot lot or whatever. And don't quote me on those numbers, but yeah, sometimes the alternate routes are the best option.
Alt rock.
Find that
Alternative rock.
Find that piece on the Gazette, and written by Seth Foster. Very interesting piece. Yeah, getting into some other 14er news. There was a recent accident that took place on Little Bear Peak. Obviously, Little Bear Peak, known for its very notorious nature as a dangerous peak to climb. A key part of why that climb is so dangerous is this hourglass feature, which is essentially like this, probably about 800 feet of just like this like rock chute, where it's class 4 climbing. So, and you're very exposed, paying attention to all of your points of contact very carefully. And then that risk is even, aside from just the exposure risk and the fall risk, that risk, there's this big uptick there because there's this just like loose pile of rocks that sits on top of it. I've written about it before, but even when I climbed this peak a couple years ago, and even then there was like a rock fall when I was at the top out of the hourglass, but there was a rock fall then. So, but this very dangerous nature of this peak was put on display when exactly that happened in recent days with the rock fall coming down this hourglass. Apparently there was a husband and wife, and the wife in this scenario posted her account of the story on Colorado 14ers, a Facebook group. Meanwhile, Alamosa Volunteer Search and Rescue also posted about this story. So this story I'm about to tell you is kind of a mix between both of those accounts. But yeah, essentially, this husband and wife, and another solo climber that they just bumped into kind of in the similar area, ended up taking a break kind of at the base of the hourglass for like a quick snack before they're about to go up this big gully, which takes a long time, and you're paying attention, so it's definitely want to refuel before you do that. And then all of a sudden rocks started falling. She described in her account that it was like the loudest thunder she'd ever heard. Said it was like microwave to dishwasher.
Wow.
Can't talk today.
Round 4.
Dishwasher boulders.
Yeah.
Coming down this chute, so everyone kind of scrambles for cover, right? Apparently that solo climber, they might have been struck, but either way, fell about 20 to 30 feet, and was not conscious after that fall. So at this point, they somehow had cell phone connection, were able to call 911. But then also they had their Garmin in reach with them, which always allows for kind of like a better level of communication. It's sending GPS coordinates.
Yep.
Rescuers can kind of pinpoint where that call for help is coming from. But yeah, so they ended up having to stay with this injured climber for several hours, waiting for search and rescue to arrive. Eventually, that climber was airlifted off of that peak. So, climber also not wearing a helmet at the time, so that may have attributed to some of these serious injuries. But yeah, I mean, it's a kind of a noteworthy story for the 14-year climbing community. Just as a reminder to, always wear those helmets when you're in that dangerous terrain. Always make sure you have a means of communicating when you might not have cell phone connection. Yeah, and also this reminded me of something else too. Just with the rockfall risk, there, staggering your group can be important. Like doing that responsibly, where you're kind of maintaining eye contact and you're not, staggered directly below someone where they're going to knock a rock down. But just in the event of a major rockfall like this, if you're staggered, hopefully everyone's not injured and there is still someone there that's able to call for help.
Yep.
So yeah, kind of a very serious situation that unfolded on Little Bear.
Yeah. Little Bear, which you always often refer to as one of the more notorious peaks out there, right?
I mean, it's the most dangerous peak I've ever climbed for sure, but I also haven't climbed some of the more technical ones down the Elks Range, so or the San Juans for that matter. So there's always going to be debate around that, but but yeah. So
Big Bear, Little Bear, the Big Bear. Yeah.
Got another topic that I want to get into that's not as much of a serious topic, we'll say. Which actually, now that I'm looking at this.
Yay, nay? So many topics.
So
little time.
Yeah, maybe we save it for next week.
Actually. Ooh, little tease for the people.
Gonna get into some high elevation mountain food next week. We'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Talking some of our favorite meals.
From, I like that subject.
Yeah, from some of those mountain towns.
Yeah.
Seth's piece about Otto's chicken is finally out too. If anyone's interested in reading that.
Speaking of high altitude,
yeah. Speaking of high elevation,
the highest town in North America, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
What's that distinction with Alma and Leadville? Incorporated and unincorporated
city. Yeah, Alma's.
I always forget about this.
I think there are a few other places that are also up there that are not like
don't get the buzz
towns, official cities. But
10,500 feet where you can find Otto's fried chicken.
Mm-hmm.
One heck of a fried chicken sandwich.
Amazing stuff there.
You've had it?
Can't talk. Yeah, I've had it a few times.
I can't recall.
Can't talk about it enough, to be honest. I want to say I got like Philly or
right,
and then I think a Cuban of some sort there, maybe.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Last time I was up there, I think we just got 3 sandwiches, and everyone just kind of like split it up.
It's occurring to me. I talk about fried chicken on this show. Can you talk about fried chicken too much? I don't know.
Also, Slogars, right?
Oh yeah, and Crested Butte. I love outside Colorado Springs here, the Juniper Valley Ranch.
That's a good spot too. They do the family style stuff.
Yeah. In this unassuming adobe hut out in the southern countryside of Colorado Springs.
Well, there you go.
That's a family-owned classic right there.
There you
Decades.
Go. I guess you do have an update about Sweetwater Lake. You wanna share on that?
Update might be no update. Yeah. But Sweetwater Lake. So if people aren't aware, what was it in 2021? There was this announcement that it was going to be the next state park, right? One of the state's largest natural lakes in western Colorado. I think kind of west of Gypsum, if you will, off I-70, but way off I-70, pretty off I-70. Up against the Flat Tops Wilderness to orient people here. Beautiful place that had been privately held for generations, but also through the generations beloved by horseback riding tourists and also people who live close by there. The community that's very much been like a community center for people who've lived around there, including this restaurant and meeting place. And so ever since it came into public ownership, owned by the Forest Service, Forest Service land in White River National Forest, there's been this effort to imagine what kind of the management's going to be back there involving Colorado Parks and Wildlife, hence this idea for a state park. There's been a lot of pushback to that idea.
Well, it's interesting. I'm looking at this right now, just kind of like, Googling to learn a little bit, see the photos. The photos do look beautiful, by the way, like mountains, cliffs around this. It's
the flat tops in the background.
It's very underrated
fantastic
spot. Yeah. But it looks like back in 2021, some of these headlines are saying it is a new state park.
Right. Yeah. That was the word from Governor Polis.
Dang.
He went there and said, this is going to be a state park. And that caught a lot of locals off guard. I mean, there had been this, to catch people up, there'd been for a long time this fundraising campaign to bring it into the White River National Forest. Right. So there Save the Lake campaign. And now you see signs along the road that's like something along the lines of truly save the lake. Locals feel very strongly about it not being a state park and whatever may or may not come with a state park designation. And officials have said that it very well might not be a state park, right? There's still a lot of talk about recreation area or what kind of, it's about marketing in a lot of people's minds, So anyway, flash forward to today, there was a recent update to CPW Commission just saying that with Forest Service turnover and uncertainty, process has been delayed. Been a lot of meetings last year, kind of looked like the process was moving along, but now things are delayed. And when we might see a plan for this, for Sweetwater Lake, has yet to show itself, maybe next year. But in the meantime, kind of the talk remains about what the future of that site could be.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's a very remote area too.
Yeah.
Like I could see where there'd be some like local pushback just because it is one of those spots where it's like, you got a national forest there, you got a wilderness area there, but aside from the locals, not a lot of people are going from the Front Range or some of these bigger areas, tourists coming in town. A lot of them are not going to this part of the state.
Right.
So,
and does that remoteness naturally protect or prevent those fears of it being overrun?
Maybe
not. But for sure, I mean, when people hear one of the states, I gotta look this up. Is it like the second largest natural lake? I forgot what that was. It's one of the largest natural lakes in Colorado. And to your point, when you see the photos, I mean, yeah, you'll want to go there for sure.
Yeah. So that one's it said 72 acres is something I was seeing there. So
we have the technology.
Grand Lake is 500 surface acres. Yeah, let's just do this real quick.
Grand Lake is the largest. Lake San Cristobal is the second largest.
Yeah, we were just talking
and everyone's probably saying, what about Blue Mesa? That is the largest body of water that is man-made.
Yes, that is a reservoir.
Sweetwater somewhere down the line.
Yeah, well,
it's gorgeous.
There we go. All right, well, yeah, I think that about wraps it all up for the day. So
sweet.
Anything else? Sweet. Have a drink of water.
Pretty sweet, that drink?
Yes.
What is that?
Got a raspberry lime Spindrift.
Spindrift. Natural, though.
I drink about 6 of these a day or so. Like
sponsors, if you're listening.
Yeah, right. I would love some free Spindrift. I'm kidding.
Spindrift.
Get it on Amazon.
You can get a bunch of it at Costco.
Yeah, it's a good deal on Amazon too. That's what I'm saying. You get a 24 pack for like, I think $14 was the last one I got. So,
but if you shop on Amazon, you can't get a hot dog while you're doing so. At Costco, you can.
That is very true. And on that note,
argument ends. I win.
He wins. Let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
Until next time, I am Spencer.
I'm Seth.
And we will see you
out there, Colorado.
There we go.